Hey guys, I am John Carrick, and today we are looking at 100 Bullets, number 19. The logo's on the back. He's kind of in this book too, only his name is Lono, and he's really kind of Tom Sizemore from Natural Born Killers. Is really kind of who he is in this issue. And this starts off with Lewis. I kept calling him Curtis yesterday. Lewis and his cousin Miguel go into Curtis's apartment, Lewis's dad's place. And Agent Graves is in there waiting for him. And Lewis is looking for the money, but it's not there. They have a quick conversation about the briefcase and the gun and who killed who and what happened and this and that. And Agent Graves points out that Lewis has this key that he doesn't recognize. He's been to the bus station, he's been to different places where there could be lockers, and he doesn't know what this key fits. And he says his dad gave it to him. And Agent Graves says, your father gave you 2 keys. And so then we get a quick flashback about the baseball glove. I like how this flashback gets this extra border. And he found the key inside it. And so actually what Agent Graves means is the glove itself, which we come to understand later on in the issue. And so Lewis, and the art is amazing. Look, I am going to say one thing though that has bothered me in this issue, and now that I've noticed it, I've been noticing it a lot. Too many canted panels. Granted, everything is sideways. Lewis has got his face all beaten up. He's hurt. The whole world is sideways when you're hurt. And maybe that's why there's never any sideways panels in the Conan comics, because he's never really hurt. But this one has a lot of canted, tilted panels. And everything is on tilt. If they're doing it deliberately, okay. If they're doing it just by accident, then it's too much. They always did tilt Nino's place, which I had noticed, but every page has tilted, canted panels. None of the text is, thankfully. So that's important. Here we get back to the flashback, and Lewis knows where he should go. And so we get him. Oh, this is Lono. Lono has found a girl, a plaything, and this is very much like the scene with Tom Sizemore in Natural Born Killers, where Tom Sizemore, the cop, has completely lost it, and he thinks in order to catch Mickey Knox, he has to become Mickey Knox, and starts raping and murdering girls. So, Lewis and Lewis Hughes, and Miguel go to a Mets game, or a Phillies and the Mets game. I don't remember which. I think they're in Philadelphia. And he knows he's got to find this 216, I think is the locker number for this key. Yeah, right down here at the bottom panel. He finds it with a letter, and then he goes back to the stands to read the letter. And the letter is all this caption up here at the top with this sort of gradient behind it. It looks like it's, written on old parchment. And then we get them going out to the car, and we see that the bag breaks open in the back. And they have a conversation about where this came from and where Miguel's money came from. And Miguel has a lot more than 120 grand. He'll just say that. And I should have put this together already, but I didn't because I'm stupid. But this is just like Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels. Guess who Miguel robbed in Miami? We saw that robbery. Right after Agent Graves gave a briefcase with $2 million to Lono, Lono got robbed and got hit by a car, and Miguel was the guy driving it. So he has now arrived at Miguel's Four Seasons suite. Remember earlier when I said Miguel didn't check into a hotel, and that was because he was running from someone, and that was a very smart move. And then he did check into a hotel, and now Lono has found him and shatters his windpipe and murders him right there in the room in front of his girlfriend. And Miguel doesn't get up again. And then, as Lono leaves, Lewis, who I almost called Curtis, thinks he's going to get the jump on him. But Lono is a master. Lono knows everything. And takes the gun away and recognizes it as one of Graves' magic guns. And immediately starts questioning him. Okay, so Graves gave you this gun to kill me. Blah, blah, blah. Who are you? What are you doing here? And he's like, no, it wasn't to kill you. It was someone else. Who? My father. And then, okay, did you kill him? No, somebody else did. I killed somebody else. Okay, so Lono lets him live, but he demands a price, and Loop gives up the 120 grand and has nothing. So he gets robbed by Lono. Loop has the worst day. This kid has the worst day because then he goes to the funeral for his father. And look, in this one, no complaints on the commercials. All the commercials are in good spots, but I think that's because every page is, the bottom corner is something special. So this one, he's at the funeral with his mom, and we turn the page, and he gets arrested. And Agent Graves did it to him. Not for the gun, not for the bullets, but for the broken bottle he used to kill the girl. The Chun-Li girl at Rigo's place that he stabbed in the neck. He just left it behind with his fingerprints on it. So he's going to jail. This is the hardest hitting comic ever written. Ever. Nobody gets what they want. Nobody. I'm sure in a couple issues we'll catch back up with Desi. I don't know which ones I have next. I definitely have to get another lot and fill in some of the gaps. I only have like 30 or 40. There's only 100, so. Although as you get later on in a collection like that, it becomes harder because you either start to double up or you have to pay more for individual issues. We'll see what happens. They're not expensive anymore. There are no expensive comics anymore, except the ones the speculators want. You don't have to pay anything for readers. Today's conflicted card is the Seven of Clubs. And I had said to a friend a while ago that they won't do anything to Los Angeles because too many Jews live here, but apparently I was wrong because the city is burning down. And we were just interrupted by a friend who, I live in the Valley, and a friend of mine also lives in the Valley, and she just called because she's very nervous because she can see the fire on the hills from where she lives, and she's very panicked. So a lot of people are very worried. And I tried to explain to her that it's going to be all right, but if the collapse happens, what do you think will cause it? I think what will cause it is the lack of teamwork in America today. Everyone is out for themselves, for their own tribe. As I said to her, if you have a Latino in charge, they're going to make sure that Latinos get all the landscaping jobs for the county or the city. If you have an Indian in charge, they're going to make sure Indians get all the accounting jobs for the city or county. If you have a Jew in charge, they're going to make sure Jews get all the legal contracts for the city or county. All we have is corruption. We don't have any teamwork. There is no sense of unity. And that is the problem with this place. And I've watched it my entire life. So this is karma. This is what, everyone gets the government they deserve. And these are the hard times that will make strong men. Hard times made by weak men. So this is something people have to go through. I'm doing fine because I've already worked through this. When the chaos happens, I actually feel most at ease because there's not really anything to worry about until there's something to worry about. You can't shoot at anyone until they're firing at you. And there's no sense standing there all day with the gun at your shoulder because it gets really heavy really fast. And then your aim is for shit. And that goes right along with comics and making stories and telling stories and doing fiction instead of war. I have to do fiction, so my brothers and sisters don't have to do war, is really the argument I should be making for this channel. And the worst thing you can do with this is to rush it. If you try and force this, if you try and force art or hurry art, you get nothing. You have to take your time. Really good art takes time. It takes time to get the position right, to get the expressions right, to get the lighting right. It takes time to get the meaning of what you're trying to do right, and it takes time to get the symbolism right, and it's worth it. It's so worth it. This is Legacy of a Mad Scientist. This is Legend of Ashley Fox, 2 amazing science fiction fantasy novels for you guys on Amazon Smashwords or right here on YouTube as audiobooks. It's about Dr. Fox invents a whole bunch of stuff. He invents a super healing gel or goo or candy that is a polysynthetic nanostem cell based on angelic blood, synthetic angelic blood, angel blood. And if you consume it, it heals you instantly. And his daughter is genetically, not modified, genetically designed to be like the perfect athlete and the perfect, both his children are perfectly athletic and perfect intelligence. She's clever and smart and fast and disciplined, and she's a ninja babysitter. And she has to pick up where he leaves off because he gets into a whole bunch of trouble. In this first novel, when the government decides, he invents something called the micronics, which is a mind-to-computer interface. Mental computer interface. And this is a wireless internet connection where you don't have to have plugs in your head. In the future, a lot of people have digital ports, like what Elon wants to do, where he puts a chip in your head, but that can lead to all sorts of problems. And this is a metal that evaporates into the air and saturates the air to the extent that it can generate images and sounds inside the human mind. It can directly stimulate the nerve endings. And it's an artificial intelligence that can do that. So he discovers how to communicate with it. This is the same metal that makes everything in the future float. When they charge it with electricity, they can charge it to a certain density that will cause it to float off the Earth's gravity. It's a mirrored frequency. And Dr. Fox, knowing how to communicate with this, discovers that in a form of fusion where he feeds it an equation. He feeds it the equation for pi. And so it starts to pull its electrons and neurons together really fast, and it can implode it. So basically, if Dr. Fox has a nightmare, he could blow up an entire metropolitan area because all these buildings are anti-gravity buildings and they're all floating. A friend of mine explained to me that that's really just a neutron star, and you can't have that no matter how clever you think you are. But in my future, in my universe, this is the world-bending rule that I bend. And this metal is liquid. When a metal rusts or oxidizes, it's giving off particles into the air. And the same thing is happening here. The molecules are moving so fast that when they hit the surface, they bond because they're all trying to get out at once, like a keystone in an arch. So they're all trying to get out at once, and they lock into place. And that makes it bulletproof. And it's also liquid metal, so it can change itself. This is how the transformers work. I was trying to explain this to Shane in chats. It's called density, Shane. It's called density. And he was arguing with me. But yeah, that's how it works. You can read or listen to this book. The first hour explains all of it. All the hard science is done in the very first few chapters. Dr. Fox having a conversation with Dr. Lao-Te. And it's top-notch science fiction. So this is what I'm going to do while the world burns. This is my version of Nero fiddling. I'm going to draw pictures of pretty girls fighting monsters. So, all right, see you guys tomorrow. Bye.